In this video, we want to look at adding a new course using the option to start with a blank course. What this is going to do is create a new shell for us that's completely empty, free for us to build up from scratch, but we will have the option within it to import individual assignments from other courses if we want to do that. What we'll do is start off by giving this a course name. So for instance, Math 106, Spring 26. Doesn't matter what name you give it, as long as it makes sense to you and your students. You can also enter an enrollment key. This isn't required. I often use the same enrollment key for all of my courses, but that's information that you provide to students for them to register for your course if you're not connecting to Canvas. It's also information you would have to provide to other instructors if they want to import material from your course. So it just sort of locks the information in your course, or you can leave it blank and anyone can sign up and import material from your course. Under availability and access, you can leave this course as available to students if you're creating a course that you actually plan to use live, or uncheck that if what you're creating is a sandbox course where you just want to build an experiment and no students are going to enroll in it. You can set a start and end date for your course, or you're allowed to leave that blank for no limit, which is a great option if you're building a sandbox course to experiment in. You can set default start and end times for new items. So this means every time you create an assignment within MyOpenMath, it would automatically set that start time and end time for the assignment. I would recommend using times like 12:01 a.m. and 11:59 p.m. to avoid confusion over whether midnight is the start or the end of a day. You can allow students to self-enroll using the course ID, which will be generated once we complete this process, and the enrollment key that you set up above, or you can uncheck that if you don't want students to self-enroll. If you're connecting to Canvas, leave that checked, I believe, just to be safe. You can also change the settings for how other instructors can copy course items. So for instance, if you want them to be required to have the enrollment key, or no key is required if they're in certain groups, or just no one needs a key and anyone can import assignments that you create. Under LMS integration, you want to check this box if you are connecting your course to Canvas. Once we have that checked, that means all due dates, start times, end times, everything will be set up in Canvas. We'll build the assignments in MyOpenMath, but the actual sort of distribution and access of the assignments from the student perspective will be controlled by Canvas. If you leave this unchecked, then you'll set up all those due dates and times within MyOpenMath. Under additional options, you can assign late passes. This allows students to access an assignment after the due date. When you're building assignments, you can control which assignments do allow late passes and which don't, so you can control which assignments can be submitted after a given due date. So you just want to input however many assignments you're going to have in your course, or if you're not sure, just enter a really big number if you're not concerned with how many students use. You can also adjust how far the late pass extends the due date. If you want it to be through the end of the semester, again, I just put in a really large number here, and what the system does is auto-corrects whatever the largest possible value it accepts is. Or if you want it to be more limited, 24 or 36 hours, if you want to give limited extensions. You can choose to receive a message whenever students enroll in your course. You can change the theme of your course, which I haven't experimented with. I don't really know, but that changes just visually how what you build in MyOpenMath looks. The message system, you can set that to be on or off. This really only matters if you're administering your course through MyOpenMath. This message system doesn't connect to Canvas, so if you're embedding your course in Canvas, making that connection, it doesn't matter what you set here, you won't use this. And then there are navigation links that you can turn on for students or turn off. Again, this information doesn't show up in Canvas, so these options only matter if you're administering your course exclusively through MyOpenMath. Once you set all those settings however you want them, you can click Submit. and you're going to get an output page which gives you a course ID, which was generated by MyOpenMath. That's information you would have to provide a student if they were enrolling manually in your course. If we're connecting through Canvas, we don't need that information. And it's just going to restate the enrollment key, which is what you created on the previous page. If you are connecting your course to Canvas, you'll want to record this key and secret information. We're going to use that to make the connection between MyOpenMath and Canvas a little bit later on. From there, you can click to enter your course, and you'll have your very empty course ready for you to start building and adding materials, which we'll get to in subsequent videos.